Hello and welcome to Bricks. I'm Adam and this is Bricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Marvel Avengers Truck Takedown set. This is set number 76143. It has 477 pieces, and I paid $30 for this set. This is a retired set. I got this with a few other sets like a Chima one and some creators, and I got a bunch of sets at kind of a thrift store like event that was a Lego event that I went to, and I picked up a ton of stuff. Some of it was like sealed, some of it was sold as is, and it maybe was missing a few pieces or everything was there but it was already built and different stuff. This is one that was sealed, and so now I'm going to take a look at it. Not too long ago I looked at a Spider-Man monster truck set, which I think is similar to this in some ways and also pretty different. You know, it doesn't have like the big wheels, but I'm interested to see in what ways they compare, size comparisons and everything else. And it also very much reminds me of a set that there was a set I looked at that came with like AIM agents, and I think it was a Black Panther set, and I'm not sure what else, but either way I was excited to see the drone, which I looked at recently, I think with the Spider-Man truck and another little side vehicle here and a couple Avengers characters. So it looked like there was a good amount of stuff in here. I think this is from 2020, so it's been retired for a little while. I don't know what it retailed for. I'm imagining $40, $45, $50. The aftermarket seems to be around the $30 mark, which is about what I paid, maybe a little bit more because it's retired. But I don't know if there's anything too specifically sought after here in regards to, like, for example, minifigures. But either way, I decided to pick this up. I'm excited to look at it. So in this video, I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Marvel The Avengers Truck Takedown set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like the video, click the thumbs up, give it a like, and if you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so I really appreciate all the help. Thank you very much. And then I wanted to talk about the build. So in the first bag of pieces for this set, we have the kind of AIM agents here, and they have a couple really interesting side builds. I think I do a good job covering them in the full review. There's not any revolutionary building techniques in here, but there was some piece usages that you may have already noticed that I really liked. And then with the next bag of pieces, we can move on to this Avengers truck. Actually, the base of this, the core of this, that's only 4 wide really, with those 1 by 14 or 16 or whatever they are, and then the plates on top really reminded me of the base of the Spider-Man monster truck. But then we add in a bunch of other details, some really cool functionality here that you can see, and then we start building kind of the walls of the rear. We'll kind of build both sides. Both sides are pretty similar. I think I put those together right the first time, but the sides are similar to each other. They're just kind of reversed, and then we add a few more pieces to kind of lock everything down, a few more pieces for the mechanism here, and on to the last bag of pieces. There's actually a portion of this that I did get wrong. We kind of add a little more of the shape for the transition from the like cab to the trailer, so to speak, or the storage in the back to the kind of driving area there. And we kind of do some details for the cockpit or for the driver's seat or whatever in the inside there, as well as that nice canopy piece. Then we work on building one of the accessories that's a really cool function, a really cool feature, and overall really enjoyable. I thought it came out really nicely. And then we build up the rear kind of thing here with some stuff, and then we work on these kind of roof elements, and this is where I had them on wrong actually. I put them on the wrong side and I had them facing the wrong way, so once I got that corrected, we can add some final details using these orange splat elements, add the tires, and that's everything. So thanks, and now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this Lego Marvel Avengers truck takedown set. This is pretty cool. It's got actually more similarities than I maybe thought with the Spider-Man monster truck, but there's some good differences too. And overall, I think I can't remember what the price or the piece count was rather for the Spider-Man one. It might have been more than this. It might have been around the same. It might have been less. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But that one did have some nice kind of side buildy things as well. So does this set. So there's a lot to look at. But the first thing we'll look at are the minifigures, because you do get some. You get 4 minifigures in this set. The first one we will take a look at is Hawkeye. So we have Hawkeye here. It does have a bow and an arrow and kind of a quiver on the back. The hairpiece is pretty good. I do not like this face printing. I think the one for kind of the Hawkeye character in the Marvel CMF2 is better. I can't remember. I would have to dig it out to see that or pull it out of my CMF drawer, but this looks a little bit weird. It has, the printing for like these goggles here. I think the angle of the eyes is what's kind of striking to me, and doesn't really feel right. And what's this character's name, like Clint or something like that? And then we have a alternate face, which is good that there's an alternate face, but the eyes still don't feel great to me. I think it looks worse with the hair off. The hair kind of frames it up a little better, but it's still not quite great to me. So I'm not a big fan of the face printing for this character. It does have exposed arms. The torso here is pretty good. So we have some nice little metallic bits kind of on some armor for the suit, little pouches, and buckles and different things. So that's good. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, just black legs, and then nothing on the arms. And I can remove the quiver so we can see the back printing, and it's about what one would expect, I think, from the back. Has kind of these straps, the cloth underneath, different patches and armor stuff, little buckles that have the metallic printing there. So overall that's fine. I just, for whatever reason, don't like the headpiece, and I believe Lego has done better, or not the leg piece, the headpiece. I believe Lego has done better faces for Hawkman and done better minifigures for this character. So this one's not my favorite. The next one we will look at is Captain America. I have a few Captain America figures. This one still does have the helmet that I don't quite like, but I'll get to that in a second. It does come with the shield, so printed shield, very nice. Good to get another one of those. The hair for this is good, feels like Steve Rogers. Face is okay. Does have an alternate face, which has the chin strap there, which is the face for the helmet. And again, this is the helmet that I'm not super partial to, but it does have the printing on the helmet, does have these kind of cutouts there, and then does have the mask over the eyes, and then the kind of chin strap piece goes with that. So that's good to get that. Torso is about what I would expect. We got some pouches around the belt. We have red, white, and blue throughout here. Some nice fine line details for the suit there. Looking at the back of the torso, we have more metallic buckles and emblems and different things. Some really good detail, some small lines in here on the kind of middle of the back on the blue there with some black lines that might be a little bit hard to see, but it gives some texture to the suit, which I do like. And overall, I think this is pretty good. I'd have to compare it to some of my other Captain Americas, but overall I think that's good. So those are the two kind of Avengers you get in this set. And then as part of this set, you also get 2 AIM agents. So these have identical printing and like legs, arms, torso, all that stuff, but they have some different accessories. So first I'll show this one, We have the aim agent here, so I think the colors are right on. I like all the kind of gunmetal, metallic gray kind of stuff here. So we have the helmet, which is nice. It could have a visor. This doesn't use a visor. It does have kind of the gas mask looking breathing apparatus thing that goes around the neck, so the helmet's kind of two separate pieces here. I can remove the helmet and we can see the kind of face printing for these aim agents have kind of a visor there printed on them, and then I will remove the breathing thing so we can see the rest of the face. It kind of has like a grill here around the mouth area, so I think that's really cool. I love the torso printing on this. Some really nice vertical lines in here that are super tightly packed to give it different texture, to give it a slightly different shade as other parts of like the silver. It does say aim on it right above this kind of little bar here, so that's really tiny but very cool to see, and the printing quality is nice. Nothing on the midsection, nothing on the legs, nothing on the arms. Looking at the back again, we have some nice details here, again with some like vertical lines in some of this to change up some of its color. It looks like we kind of have like a energy pack or something on the back of these aim agents that is pretty terrific there, so I like that, and I'll put some of these back on. I believe I've gotten aim agent minifigures in other sets, like I said, and I think they were the same as this or similar, because I think these sets were around the same era, and this one could have potentially a accessory, so you do make this little stud shooter with the bar coming off of it, and then you actually add on one of those like crystal pieces and a tile here to the back, so that looks pretty cool. So this character could wield that if they desired. And then we have the other aim agent here, which, like I said, the printing for the torso and the head are all the same. This one's just decked out with different accessories. So it has two things around the neck. It has kind of the breathing apparatus and has the clear piece with the studs on the back. We can take a minute to look at this this kind of accessory here. It uses one of those kind of camera or blaster type pieces in the middle there, but translucent on the back, some vented kind of angled pieces there, a clip up top to hold this, and then we use some of those splat elements in the translucent orange, which come in a pre-packaged thing, and I was very happy to see that this set used all of the splat elements. There's none left over, so I like to see that because they always come like pre-packaged. If you're going to have any of these kind of splat elements, you're going to get them all generally, and I do appreciate when a set makes good use of them. So we have this kind of blaster here. The top one can be angled. There's not a stud shooter on here or whatever, but I think it looks really cool. It's kind of comically big. And then looking at the rest of this aim agent, we also have some of the splat elements up top, and those can be positioned a little bit. They're on clips and then on these pieces studded on the back, and they have the kind of metallic grate or vent piece over that. So that looks really cool too. It's kind of like a jetpack or like a hovering device or something like that. I could see this character kind of flying around or something, and you can kind of turn these a little bit and have it going like that as well, so there could be some propulsion there, and that's pretty cool. I do like that a lot. And then I think it looks really neat with the kind of blaster accessory on there too, so I like that. And the two of these together are pretty fun. They're distinct, even though they have the same legs, same torso, same arms, same head, same helmet, same face mask part, but the accessories really do a lot of work to kind of make them feel distinct, which is really nice. And those are the minifigures that are in this set, as well as their accessories. It's nice to get alternate faces. It's nice to get the alternate hair and the helmet piece. Nice to get all of the different accessories and different things in there. And then we can move on to the kind of build for this set, and there's kind of a couple side buildy things. So apart from like the accessories accessories for the minifigure. There's a few different things for these AIM agents, and the first one's kind of this Tricycle, which is interesting because I think the perspective on the image on the box is a little bit different. This is kind of a tricycle. We got a one big wheel in the center of the front, a couple smaller wheels at the back, which does make this lean back a little bit. If it's on flat, the front wheel is kind of up higher than the rear wheels, or like the axle of the front wheel is slightly higher than the rear ones, but that's okay. Color scheme works really, really well. We got the dark bluish gray, some kind of metallic pieces here, and the yellow, I believe, and we got some translucent yellow down here. All the wheels can spin. This is actually super basic. I thought it was going to look a little bit cooler, and maybe it does from some angles, but you can see it's just built on this 6x4 plate there, and then it's just lots of plates on plates. There's a couple like Technic axle bricks on there as well, and then you add a little bit of detail. You got like the inverted slope at the back, a clip piece, a little bit here, another vent, and there is a spot for an AIM agent to sit, as well as the handlebar. I think these slopes can look nice from the certain angle. It just doesn't like taper in a way that I wanted, and the exposed Technic isn't too big of a deal for me. I would actually be fine with that, but for whatever reason on the box, I think it looked a little bit cooler in my opinion. So this is a pretty basic thing. This does have stickers. This set has stickers. Here's the sticker sheet. So we have the AIM right here on one side, and on the other side we have AIM right there. So those are the two stickers on this. Overall, I think it's fine. One of the things I do appreciate is that it does have the clip on the back. So if this character who doesn't have kind of the jetpack or the big blaster is operating this tricycle, they can sit in here and get their hands on the handlebar, and they do have a space for the accessory there, which is a big thing for me. I always appreciate that, so they're just can travel with the character and don't get lost as easily. So I like that. I think it looks cooler with that on the back, and so that's good to see. And then we have another side build, which this one I liked more than I thought I would. And this is something that reminds me a bit of the Spider-Man monster truck thing here, because we have kind of this AIM drone here, and this is really, really neat. So we do have stud shooters on the side. They are kind of inverted, so to speak. They can't really be aimed too much, because if you turn them around, they'll probably become unclipped. So you have a little bit there, but if this is hovering in the air, it can kind of just turn on its own radius or its own kind of thing there. So it doesn't really matter. It could aim at whatever, and it doesn't need to, I think, kind of be able to swivel these blasters at the front. I like the use of this piece. It's kind of again, sort of a blaster type piece here for an accessory. It's kind of could be used for greebling details. They put one of those translucent yellow kind of gemstone pieces on there and kind of tilt that back. You could tilt them forward as well, and I think it's smart. It mirrors these a little bit with the studs in there for the stud shooter to have those out there, and I think that looks really cool. And then we have just a disc on top, and at the back I really, really loved this. We have kind of like the propulsion or different things here, whatever, like the kind of hovering thing that this uses or whatever, and we use some of that translucent yellow again, like the dish and the cone pieces there, and those are inside the kind of gunmetal gray lantern piece. I think this is a really great use of the lantern piece here. I think I don't often see this piece used in ways that aren't obvious or kind of just used as a lantern or a light or something like that. And I really appreciate the use of this as kind of a sci-fi kind of element there. It looks like really cool to have the kind of bars and the cage almost for these things, and you can see the cone instead of like just a round brick in the middle. It has a cone which adds a different effect in there, which I really like. Those can kind of be positioned as well to make this feel a little bit different, so that's really cool. I like all the use of the translucent yellow here, which is wonderful. And then we have this piece which has a sticker on it. So I don't really like putting stickers on this piece. Actually, for the Icons McLaren F1 car that I talked about not too long ago, that's a newer release, they printed on this piece. It wasn't a great printing because it was pretty light printing on a translucent piece, but anyway, I like this. This is on the older, darker translucent or trans black, trans brown kind of thing. So it's not like the new color as much, but we do put a sticker on there. Adds a nice bit of detail, I suppose. Probably could be left off as well, but that's good. So we get the little drone, and one of the cool things that I also really appreciate is that this drone can be positioned on the Tricycle. So when that's on there, this automatically looks like way cooler in my opinion. It's a little bit precarious because it just has the kind of round plate here, and then there's just this kind of cone piece that has the one stud on top, and so you stick that on there. So it's only attached by one stud, but that does mean taking it off is really simple, no hassle, nothing really like that. And I think this looks cool as an addition. It makes this trike feel a little bulkier, a little more secure, has more firepower, maybe faster and everything like that. So it looks cool there, but I also like the idea of this driving in and then having the drone kind of release and cover places where maybe the trike can't get. So that's very cool. The only thing I would maybe want is like another space for the other aim agent, but if they're flying in or running in or using their kind of back accessory there, I understand why it is the way it is, but I do really appreciate that this can very easily be attached and detached from this side build, because these come together in a nice way. We do have 3 extra of the translucent yellow or translucent green, I think it's yellow, studs here, which are for the stud shooter that's clipped on the back, kind of the minifigure accessory, and then the 2 on the drone. So those are all the kind of the aim agent side buildy type things. On their own, I do really like the drone. I wasn't a huge fan of this. I think together it improves this a lot, and it doesn't really detract from the drone. So while this isn't my favorite kind of side build vehicle or antagonist vehicle or anything like that, it does have some potential, and it can still be really fun, and it kind of can be juiced up a little bit, and that I do appreciate it, which makes up for what it lacks in my opinion. And then the rest of the build is this Avengers truck. So I was kind of surprised. This is wide. I think, at the front here, it's about 6 wide, or it is 6 wide. But at the rear, it's 8 plus the tires, so maybe like 10 wide. So it's a pretty big vehicle, but it's really cool. I think it was interesting that they used the same size wheels on the truck as on the back of the trike. So those are the exact same size. I think that looks a little bit odd, but this is really great. It's packed with features and packed with details. It does have stickers, so I will point those out. On the side panel here, the Avengers A is a sticker, same on this one. Looking at the front, we have a sticker for the license plate. On the side, we have another A sticker and a sticker here. And I believe there's one more sticker. You can kind of see that Avengers A down in there. So that's pretty cool. And I think this looks great. It looks like a super armored vehicle, kind of like an MRAP in the real world in the military and other places, which is like what is an MRAP? It's a personnel carrier, but I can't remember what it all stands for, but they're kind of big armored vehicles that aren't necessarily like a tank. They're mostly for transporting personnel, but they are also like bomb resistant and things of that nature. And this feels very much like that to me, but I think they did a really great job. So looking at the front, this is super cool. We got a little bit of translucent up here peeking through. Love the use of these vented pieces, and the slope here looks like kind of blocky or different angles, but it actually really works for me, especially with this canopy piece, so that's really nice. I like the lights up here. I did not like dealing with this front bumper. It kept popping off when I was working with this, which I did not really like, and part of the reason is, it's not entirely, but part of the reason, it's on 4 studs there, but the kind of core of what this is built on is only 4 studs wide here, and not even like entirely. So we put these big long, I don't know if they're 2 by what, or 1 by rather 16 or something like that probably, and that's fine, but it's like thin. And actually the Spider-Man monster truck had a narrow base that it was built on. That one did have some active kind of suspension or shocks or different things. This one doesn't. It does have the impression of them by using these round pieces in there, so it kind of looks like there might be something, even though there's not. And actually the Spider-Man truck had that as well, using those same pieces, even though that did have some actual suspension there. So I like that. I like how this tapers out. We have the kind of side building here using one of these kind of grooved bricks there, and then the side, and then these pieces building out. We have these pieces on the side using like a little blaster thing there. Again, I'm going to call everything that's looks vaguely like that a blaster. Attaches to a piece up here. This can be swiveled around relatively easy, and then it can go up and down. Has a little clip there on the end, so it's kind of a little arm for something. Same on the other side. We also have what looks to be like a blast, so it uses these kind of splat elements here with the kind of pearl silver cone. You do see a little bit of the Technic blue pin in there, but this is got a lot of blue in it, so that doesn't bother me. And the other side has a slightly different one. It's a little bit longer, and it has a bigger splat piece on the end. Looking inside the cab here, this is hinged at the front, so it folds down like that, and we have the center steering wheel. We do have kind of the windows on the side, which is nice, but I really like how this looks from the side. Very little gapping, and actually the only gapping I can see is kind of up top, just peeking under there, but we have these extra kind of details on that can hide that a little bit, but there is a little bit of a gap there. Otherwise, I think they did a really good job taking the kind of angles of the canopy and accentuating them or mirroring them on the kind of shape of these side walls there. There is a little bit of a gap under here too, but that's not too bad to worry about, and it's sort of necessary to be able to open and close this. We do have space in there for minifigures to sit. I believe you can also store some accessories in there, so I put Captain America's shield in there, and let me see if I can get the Hawkeye stuff in here, and then let me put some characters in here. Let's do Hawkeye in the back, just to see with that hair if that works. We'll put Captain America up front here. Come on now. There we go. Close that up. No big deal. It's a little bit cramped, but that's okay. So I have the shield in there and the quiver and the bow in there. I don't have the alternate Captain America hair in there, but there might be room in there to put that, so I do really like that. So that's great to be able to put the characters in here. Again, this is kind of the older trans black, trans brown, dark translucent, or dark clear piece here, which I think, I like the new one a lot more, but this one is a little more transparent. The other one's a little more opaque, so you might not be it might not be as easy to see the characters through that, and this one you really can, so that's nice. And then there's some different kind of functions and features that this has besides all the things that I've already shown. I had to work a little bit hard to get that character out of there. It does stud down on 4 studs or something, depending on how you put it in, but I was able to make that work. Let me get these accessories out of here. There we go. So this is rather wide here at the rear, and you can kind of see we have a big opening right here, and maybe you wonder why. That's a pretty substantial gap there that we need to address. We do have some different Technic bits here where we can see that's like a pin on one side, axle on the other, and they're going in opposite directions. And I'll turn to the rear so we can see that. We have different lights back here, different stuff, and a little bit of a lever there. So this has some functionality where this can open up in a big way. So if I push this lever, we open up the rear. So both walls, like side walls of the kind of, I don't know what it would be called, just the back of the truck here, or the trailer portion of the truck or whatever, can open up and reveals a ton of cool stuff actually. So one of the things that it reveals is this whole little contraption which has the last sticker of the Avengers A in there, and this is really neat. So this can open up and go like that, and then we can extend this. Another great use of these kind of splat pieces that come in here with the chains. I love that you can like extend those out and close it back up. It feels like a great kind of like energy blaster, or almost like a the like rail guns, or like chain, I don't know what to call them, like chain ammo fed weaponry, that maybe this is like energy, plasma, whatever. And then we do have the 6-shooter type stud shooter at the front with all the translucent orange. There is a spot there for a character to sit, as well as a handlebar, and so that can be up there. I do like that it can be angled a bit here. It can't be angled like down too much, but that's not that big of an issue to me. I also really appreciate that back here we have like an accessory of the kind of walkie-talkie radio piece there. We also have another sort of blaster piece there, and there's some space back here. It does get used up when this is all closed, but that's okay. And then one of the things I also really appreciate is that part of the deal is we have that gap there, but we can close this back up after deploying the kind of artillery, or deploying the kind of blaster on the, I'm calling everything a blaster, the stud shooter on the top, and the whole mechanism and place to sit up there. You can kind of deploy that and still close up the back and still have like an armored protected vehicle and stuff like that. So that's really neat. I think the cutout kind of looks weird when this is down all the way, but it's worth it to be able to, I think, open that up. And if this is flat here, there's not a ton of difference in height, so that gap is actually relatively small if this is like perfectly flat. When you're looking at it from top down, for example, like if the drone was coming in here, the drone probably could exploit that weakness, but that's kind of neat, and it's harder to do when this is up and deployed. However, that does expose the operator of this to maybe a little more damage. It exposes them to the drone as well as some of the other people there, but I do think that's really cool. It also is another thing that helps kind of hide the gap up here around the canopy windscreen, and I just think it's really great. The mechanism to open up the sides is pretty well done. It's super simple. Essentially, you do have these kind of Technic pin axle pieces going opposite ways, and they just, so this doesn't like get studded together, it doesn't get clipped together, it just kind of has those pieces going into the Technic pinhole there, which isn't like a super tight fit. And then on the inside we have these like mixel joints, but just the mixel ball pieces that extend out of the side, and then the lever has those kind of pyramid or half pyramid type pieces. So when you push that up, it spreads the ball joint pieces there apart like that. So when they're both up and you push this, it just spreads those apart and they fall open in a really nice way. I do like the kind of color matches here with a little bit of red. So we kind of have this could be down there. You could have a minifigure in there, I believe, with this closed up and then release them out of there. So we have it like that, pop it open, and Hawkeye can come out on this little turret or whatever and operate it, and then we can close this back up and this can drive around. So that's really, really cool. I would say, you know, there's a little bit of it feels like there might be wasted space in here, but it's really actually not that much wasted because of this. When this is up, you know, this is going to be largely empty back here, but when this is down, you know, it fills out the majority of the kind of back portion of this there. So that's pretty cool. There might be places for other accessories to be put if you were to move the radio walkie-talkie piece or this blaster. Potentially some other minifigure accessories could go in there. I haven't tested that yet, but that's a possibility. And so this is really great. It's packed with features, even though it seems maybe a little bit simple or a little bit kind of bulky and clumsy and stuff. It's actually a little bit more elegant than I anticipated. One of the things to note is, and I tried to avoid this on one of the sides, I think I did, you know, there's still mold marks on pieces even in 2020. There's a kind of bad one on these beams, these Technic beams here. So on 3 of them, I think I saw the mold mark and I flipped them around. I can flip this one around and that mold mark would be on the inside. If I open this up, you can see the one right there, and this one has one right there. So those are pretty noticeable, but easy enough to hide. However, because this one has this opening capability, both sides of those beams are going to be visible at various points. So that's not great to have, but you know, I wanted to make note of it, and overall I think this is pretty cool. So I like that. We do have 6 extra of the kind of translucent orange hollow stud pieces, which go for the 6-shooter in here, so that's very nice. And so I really like this. That's kind of everything in this set. One of the things I wanted to do is to compare this to the Spider-Man vehicle I've kind of been referencing. So here is that, you know, lengthwise pretty similar. This one is 6 wide at its kind of whole thing, and this one gets out to 8 or maybe even 10. Interestingly enough, they both have kind of a thing in the back that can, what did I just do? There's a thing in the back here that can, you know, move up and be positioned. Oh, I lost a piece from the top here. So this kind of cannon that is used to shoot like a web or a net there has a similar kind of feel to the gun that's in here. The 6-shooter has some stickers there, similar colors, but this one does have the big wheels here, and it also has some kind of like suspension like piece in here, so that's different. But other than that, you know, there are a lot of similarities here that I appreciate. So pretty cool to see. This one is bulkier, it is bigger, but the wheels and the suspension and everything are a little different here. I do like that this one, the Avengers one, does kind of have the back portion covered up, and it's kind of a surprise and it's something unexpected, where this is a little bit obvious just because this is all open. I would have liked for this to have something over the top of it that could maybe pop off when this is kind of deployed there, but that's not too big of an issue. And I just thought it was nice to look at these to compare them. I think they're around the same time, but it could be a little different. And then they also both had like drones and stuff like that in as a side build, and maybe a little vehicle, I think, for the Spider-Man one and the Avengers one. So they're similar sets in a lot of ways, but they have a lot of differences. I'm not going to really say which one I like more because I like them both. And they each have things that I might like more on the other one, but this one does have, it seems like a little bit more advanced to me, so that's something to appreciate. And I was really satisfied building this. I think there's a lot of good stuff here. So I'll show the extra pieces because you do get some extra of the kind of mask for the aim agents, extra of all the translucent pieces in here, as well as the translucent studs used for the blasters. So the aim agent stud shooters and the Avengers stud shooters there, another one of those translucent yellow crystals, the trigger mechanism, your 1x1s, your small pieces, your pins, all of that good stuff there. And this set is 477 pieces, and I paid $30 for it. It retailed in 2020 for $40. I think I looked that up, which actually I think $40 for this, even in 2020, like in 2024, if this was $40, I don't think that's too out of line. And actually, I think the aftermarket value of this is not super high. I think they could be bought, for around 35 or maybe 30 like I did, but 35, probably less than retail from when it released, which is pretty nice to see. I don't know if this is something that's going to go up in value. If it hasn't already, I kind of doubt it, but I don't know what the market is like, and I don't know what the inventory is like, whether or not there's very few of these out there now, or if there's a whole bunch that flood the market and drive the price down. But I know that I got this sealed from a kind of Lego event at a thrift store, and I felt like $30 was a pretty good deal given the piece count. The amount of stuff here feels really good for $30. 4 minifigures is super nice. I'm always glad when antagonists or other characters get their own side builds and their own accessories and stuff. And then I really appreciate the bulk of the main build here is this Avengers truck. The stickers weren't too bad for me. I don't know if there's any really that I would say like either leave off or they should have been prints. It kind of feels fine to me. If there are other sets that use the aim kind of on the 1x2 like slope cheese wedge piece there, they could have printed those. I don't know if those are in other sets, but I think for the most part I was comfortable with the stickers overall. I think the function's really good, and so I think I got a great value here. I don't think these figures are going to be worth anything particularly much. Like, I don't think they've gone up in value. In fact, I don't like the Hawkman very much, but it is nice to get him. I think the AIM agents are really cool. Like to have more of those. Captain America is fine, not my favorite. Helmet seems weird, but maybe that's the best or only helmet Lego has done for Captain America. I think the vehicles, I wasn't the biggest fan of the trike for the AIM agents, but I did like the drone and what the drone brings to the trike, and I really like this Avengers truck. It's super fun, super cool, a lot of play and story opportunities here, which I always like to consider. So I think I got a great value, and frankly I think the retail price of this of $40 was probably a pretty good value then and now. I don't know if this set came out today, if this would be a $40 set. I have a feeling it wouldn't be. Maybe into the $50 range, maybe more. considering everything that's in here, the bulk of everything, the tires, the characters, and whatever else. So I could see this being a $50 set, or maybe even more, depending on how Lego is feeling for that and what people are willing to pay. But $40 doesn't seem too unreasonable to me, and I feel like I got a great deal at $30. Would have loved to have gotten it cheaper, but I felt it was an appropriate deal here, and I had a lot of fun building it, a lot of fun talking about it. So very happy to have this set, and I liked it, so very good. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Marvel, more Avengers stuff, more vehicles, tons of different sets from all different themes, all different shapes, size, price point, piece count, era, retired, new, old, vintage, whatever. I'm going to be looking at lots of different sets, so subscribe so you don't miss any of those upcoming Lego videos. Subscriptions help me a lot. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to me to get there. I just appreciate it. I'm trying to plan something special for the milestone, but I don't want to count my Legos before they're built, or count my chickens before they hatch or something like that. And so I just appreciate all the support. It means a lot to me, so thank you very much. And if you wanted to support this channel in a different way, you can do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. And I have the Patreon. It's in the video description on my channel page, patreon.com/sobricks, and that stuff really helps too, so thank you very much. And with all of that said, until next time, thanks, bye.